On this episode of The Road Chose Me, I'm exploring Burundi, from mountains and the beautiful Lake Tanganyika to remote hot springs and the source of the mighty Nile River. So here I am in Burundi. I am camping on the shores of Lake Tanganyika. So I'm in the capital city here of Bujumbura, and in the distance there I can see mountains that are part of the Congo. So one of the funny things about Burundi is that they drive on the right hand side of the road. And so here you can see steering wheel on the left, of course, and my sign that I threw on the dashboard way back when I crossed into Namibia. And so I did that because I really didn't want to screw up which side of the road I'm supposed to drive on. And so it's been that way now all of Southern Africa. I've been in, I don't even know, 10 or 15 countries now on the left. And so now that I've driven into Burundi, I've decided I don't want to mess this up again. So I've repurposed my little sign here. So now I have to drive on the right. And roundabouts have been interesting, but other than that, it's like falling off a bike. You always remember how to do it. So yeah, Burundi, it's different, and it'll be this way. Burundi and Rwanda both drive on the right. And then I have to swap back again to the left when I get into Uganda and then Kenya, and then I'll swap back again to the right for everything north of that. So yeah, everything changes. Unlike when I drove into Namibia, I'm impressed to see there are signs telling me that I need to move over and drive on the right. From the minute I drive into Burundi, I can sense everything is very different than the East Africa I've been relaxing in for the last 12 months. I'm immediately thrown back into French, and I can see the country is a lot less developed than those that I've recently been through. This is going to be quite the adventure. Not many people come to Burundi, and so I actually don't really know what I'm going to find. At first I'm high in the mountains, and I bump along these little roads, trying to stay off the paved ones. People seem really friendly, although they are genuinely surprised to see a white person. It soon becomes clear that farming is very central to life in Burundi, and every valley I pass through is heavily cultivated, just like this one. People are out in the fields doing all of the work by hand, although they all smile and wave, and they genuinely seem happy to be out in nature. There isn't really anywhere to camp in Burundi, and I'm not sure about just wild camping near a village where people will find me. So I wind up paying to camp in the parking lot of hotels in some of the small towns I pass through. Here's footage of me driving away from one of those hotels and then popping out onto the paved road. Up here in the mountains, the paved roads are actually really good, and there are virtually no potholes at all. Of course, I'd be crazy if I thought that was going to last. One of Burundi's only notable tourist attractions are the waterfalls of Karera, which turn out to be a series of about 6 or 8 waterfalls scattered around a rocky area. It's absolutely beautiful, and I spend the afternoon scrambling around trying to get a view on each of the different falls. Because Burundi is landlocked, everything has to be imported from the neighbouring countries, who all add their own tax and import duties. Therefore, cars and trucks are extremely expensive here. So even as I pass through towns and villages, it's not at all common to see other vehicles on the road. In fact, as you can see, hundreds and hundreds of people just get around on foot or bicycles. It's way more common transport than anything that actually burns gas or diesel. Although there aren't many gas stations, it's a fairly small country, and so I have no problem doing a few hundred miles in between the stations that do exist. Burundi's big claim to fame is having the source of the mighty Nile River. There are many countries that claim to have this, although Burundi likes to say theirs is the furthest from where the river actually enters the ocean, so potentially it should be considered the original source. You can see here they've built a pyramid on top of the mountain, and then a little bit further down, this is where the water actually trickles out of the side of the mountain. It's fun to think that this flows all the way to Alexandria in Egypt, my eventual destination. Not far away, I hear about a wilderness hot spring, And so of course I'm eager to go and check it out. And I am not disappointed in the least. This is by far the most beautiful wilderness hot spring I've found anywhere in Africa. I dropped down out of the mountains directly onto the shore of beautiful Lake Tanganyika. This is a monstrous lake in this part of Africa, and it borders a whole bunch of countries. I've been close to it a few times in the past, and now I'm stoked to finally get to camp a night right on the shore. A local assures me there aren't any hippos or crocs, so I take a quick dip in the early evening. In the morning, the sandy shore is littered with the tracks of hippos who apparently had a party up on shore at night. I guess I wasn't so alone for that swim. Of course, the good roads weren't going to continue, and this is what the highway looks like, paralleling Lake Tanganyika up to the capital city. I've said it before many times, and this gives you a really good idea. Sometimes, paved roads can be worse than gravel roads. These potholes are really big, and the sheer sides because of the pavement means I have to take them in first gear in the Jeep. So this is really slow going. It takes me the better part of a day to drive 100 miles bumping along on this cracked and broken pavement. Locals do this every single day, and it blows my mind. You can see here I'm following the shore of Lake Tanganyika, and I'm slowly getting closer to the capital of Bujumbura. When I was in South Africa, I heard a fitting joke about the state of some of the roads. And it goes, do you know what came before dirt roads in Africa? Paved roads. Because this footage is sped up, it's difficult to see just how slowly I'm moving along. To give you a better idea, have a look at that cyclist. I barely gain on him. Yeah, that's right. It would be faster to ride a bike on some of these roads than it is to drive the Jeep. As usual, the Jeep attracts a lot of attention everywhere I go, and it's these smiling faces and warm handshakes that I'll remember when I think of my time in mighty little Burundi.